Hi, it's Jim Lundy, founder, CEO, and lead analyst at Aragon. We're a 5-year-old research firm. We focus on digital workplace and the intersection of digital business. The main thing we try to do is understand how technology is going to impact business users and technology providers to allow them to make better technology-related decisions. One of the things about collaboration communication is that it's really hard sometimes for enterprises to figure out what's actually happening. And today what we have is a lot of isolated silos of technology. It's just the way that communications and collaboration have emerged. You have a lot of phone systems that are still on premise, legacy PBXs. You have a lot of collaboration software. You have a lot of meeting tools. And that's great, but the challenge is that it means users have to go from experience to experience to experience because they have legacy tools. Business users are not going to tolerate that anymore. They want a unified experience, and that's one of the reasons we've kind of started talking about the need for better outcomes when it comes to collaboration and communications, and the idea of one unified experience, which has been a goal of a lot of providers for many years, but the reality is they just haven't delivered. There's a lot of great analogies when you look at communications over the last 25 years. I look back at some of the recent television series like Mad Men, where you actually saw the progression of desk phones to conference phones to speaker phones, and you saw that in the 60s and the 70s. Then you had the mobile phone come online, and that started with a lot of fixed-based mobile phones in cars, to then the portable phone, and now the cell phone that is really a high-powered computer. Amazing transitions of technology, but the big issue is getting to the point now where you have an amazing equivalent of a PBX in your pocket, on a mobile phone. You can do all the things, hundreds of things more on a global basis that before you'd have to have an operator to connect you. So it is amazing what people can do now with communications and collaboration that before they would just say, well, today a lot of conference rooms do not have video. And really, when you look at global teams, teams across the country, the ability to get them communicating, collaborating faster is really one of the big challenges, and to be able to do it with the mobile workforce as well. Even a couple of years ago, if you were on the road, you did not have access to those kinds of capabilities because you had to go to an office. So now, with basically the idea of a portable workplace, I can take it with me. I've got all that power, on a phone or a tablet or even, a high-powered laptop. That's going to give me that office on the go that, again, I didn't have before. When you talk about video in the enterprise, it's really a kind of a tale of two cities. In the early years, it was limited access, it was expensive, and it was poor quality. Yet, corporate communications was one of the number one ways to deliver the CEO message. Now, what we see is video becoming more ubiquitous, yet we estimate only 20% of enterprises today have their conference rooms equipped with video. And so we think by 2020 that could go as high as 50 to 60%. One of the things when we talk about collaboration, there's different types of collaboration, kind of what we would call online, offline, or asynchronous, synchronous, vice versa. And when you look at the history of things like email, which is really one of the, still today, one of the more popular ways to communicate, it's not always real time. The new way forward is going to be more of an integrated experience because different people have different ways that they like to be contacted. So the idea of an integrated experience that allows you to go from one to the other based on the user, based on the group, based on the team, based on the time is one of the things that we're starting to see emerge. So, there's been a big rise in demand for increased ways to collaborate in teams, and it's been driven by basically an overload of email. You have a new workforce, people, i.e. called millennials, that aren't used to using email. So the idea of messaging becoming one of the new, we call it the tip of the spear, but we think becoming a dominant form of collaboration, communication, and being able to then go into other modalities is really one of the big things that users are looking for, because if you have to get a hold of somebody today at work, you generally text message them. And it might not be an enterprise flavor of that, but that's why we see people like Fuse and others starting to bring online the ability to use different types of communication and collaboration to meet that particular business need. That's what users really want, and that's what really the technology provider community needs to respond with to meet those needs. And the ones that do are the ones that will win.